After 3 weeks in Missouri, one thing is certain. For all but two, Springfield has been nothing but misery. Eric Meager and Dan Runte have dominated in their own backyard, just as Bob Chandler teams have done in the past when Andy Brass headed up the Blue Oval Bunch. Only one other truck, that of a snake, has been able to wrest wins here over the past 2 seasons. No other truck has been even close to breaking this big foothold. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the best in MTRA monster truck racing. From the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds in Springfield, Missouri, it's the Dodge Monster Drags. 25 years ago, the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds was a hotbed for stock car racing here in southwest Missouri. In fact, this half-mile, slightly banked, paved oval was frequented by now NASCAR stars Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace early in their careers. Even veteran Dick Trickle came down from his home in Wisconsin. But that was years ago, and we've not seen stock car racing on this track in many, many years. In fact, all the motorsports activity now is over in the infield, and the only stock cars you'll find are real stock cars, Detroit iron, that help to make up that monster truck track over there. And here with more on today's 9th stop on the Penda Points Championship is Army Armstrong.
Gary, today's stars of the Ozark Empire Fairground are names like Eric Meager, Dan Runte. These two trucks out of the Bob Chandler Bigfoot stable have literally held a juggernaut on this sport. As a matter of fact, they've taken the last 6 wins. However, the pendulum may have swung today because in the last qualifying effort for Runte, your current national points leader, he exploded a transmission and will not be able to make that first round call. This is the break that all the other teams have been looking for all year long. Power Wheels will not make the call for the first round.
Well, Army, Dan Runte was not the only one with transmission problems. Fred Schaefer also had to swap out a tranny, which is no small feat in a monster truck because of the transfer case. And here's a sophisticated approach to removing one. Fred would get everything together in time for round 1 and take an easy win over Pam Botters in the Boogie Van. So Fred would continue on in competition. Now Fred's teammate, there's Fred's time from round 1 of 5.26. Fred's teammate Ken Deffey had a tough time of it in qualifying. Now watch this landing he takes in the Rampage. He lands so hard he cracks the windshield. And Ken comes back for what had to be the best race of round 1 against Kirk Dabney. Only by inches, the Rampage wins at 5:39. That's the kind of action we anticipate here as we enjoy some cotton candy. We're coming right back. Welcome back to the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds here in Springfield, Missouri for the Dodge Monster Drags. Now the round 2 tree will have moving violation and overkill coming back as the fast losers of round 1. There are the matchups as we prepare for round 2 competition. We have seen some great competition so far. It's been hot, it's been humid here outside the Ozarks, and the competition has been just as hot.
Well, and we've expected that because chasing these Penda points, when the Penda Corporation came up, put this money out, everybody knew everybody was going to go head hunting, and that's exactly what we're seeing. And no exception to the head hunters, if you will, be Tim Hall, who's normally the crew chief on this truck, driven by his brother Mark. But Tim decided to get a little bit more hands-on experience. We don't get a chance to see him a lot, but believe me, the Hall Brothers Executioner team are players in this sport. In this round, they're going up against Kurt Dabney out of Fort Wayne, who's trying to overcome some obstacles that he had earlier in the year. So this could be a good old-time slapping contest, if you will, between a Chevrolet and a Ford.
And Dabney by a fender takes the victory in overkill at 5.50. Not particularly fast.
No, but I got to give credit to old Tim Hall. For a crew chief, he did a good job of driving that truck.
Yeah. How many guys would turn their crew chief loose in a racing vehicle?
Not moi.
You won't even let me drive your car.
That's right.
Here's a look again at the margin of victory as we go down trackside to visit with Kirk Dabney.
Kurt, let me grab you real quick. You've got some kind of a liquid coming out of the vehicle. What is it? You have any idea?
Well, Army, in the heat of the day out here, it's really taken its toll on the vehicle. We've really tried to adjust it from the rollover, and every time we come back with a fix from the old problem, a new one gets us. Right now, it looks like we got a little bit of liquid coming out, but it doesn't look like it'll affect us. The heat is our biggest factor. The motor's running warm, the oil pressure's low. It really takes a lot of wear and tear on the parts.
Well, the heat certainly has been a factor for all the competitors here this weekend in Springfield, Missouri. Well, coming up next, there's a look at Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher, and he will go up against Ken Deppy in the Rampage. There is the Rampage. In the far lane, the near lane, the Chevrolet, the Carolina Crusher of Gary Porter. And we want to take you back to round one competition. There's a look at Gary Porter out of Wadesboro, North Carolina. Let's go back now to round one competition as he takes on Brian Welsh in moving violation.
Oh, Brian has been trying to really make a move in this sport. This was a big chance for him, but Gary just didn't let him get his foot in the door.
Came very close, though. There's the Carolina Crusher time at 5.28. Once again, that was in round one. We are now ready for round two competition with the Carolina Crusher. And there is a look at the broken windshield on the Rampage. Ken Deppy broke that earlier with a very hard landing.
Well, you know, he's out of Jeff City, Missouri, wants to do well. It's kind of like anything else. You go to your own home state or you play basketball in your own arena or baseball in your own field, you try a little harder. Deppy has got everything on kill today in a Rampage.
Well, of course, this event is being sponsored by Dodge Trucks, the Dodge Corporation involved with promoting this monster truck event here in Springfield.
Yeah, Bob Wildberger bringing this program together, trying to take that win.
Dodge is going to get it. Dodge knocks out the Chevy. Ken Deppy at a 5.09. Oh, that was a fast run.
He took him out in a heartbeat. 09 is an awesome time with this heat they're running in.
Well, we take a look again, and even the whole shot went to Deppy over there. He gets it down. The Hemi horsepower picks it up. He pulls off the victory, and here's Ken Deppy.
Tell you what, Gary Porter will run you hard every time he gets a chance, won't he?
Gary's one of the toughest competitors out here, Army. He always has been. I was really worried about this run. You know, Gary's been running pretty fast all weekend. You know, good old Dodge power pulled through.
As we continue on, we'll take a look at some more Dodge power. Barefoot, the big Dodge of Fred Schaefer. He'll go up against the Chevrolet of Dan Patrick. Patrick, the far lane in Sampson.
Patrick running out of the sponsorship of the Race Rock Cafe in Orlando, but the Dodge is running a associate sponsor with the Viper Auto Security people. Glad to see them in the sport.
Well, we go back to round one. Dan Patrick taking on Paul Schaefer's Monster Patrol. It was all Dan Patrick, all Chevrolet.
Big hole shot. Put the win under Patrick's belt on that one.
5:38 for Dan Patrick. And there is a look at Fred Schaefer out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois, a longtime drag racer of some 15 years worth before getting into the sport of monster truck racing. He's been doing this for some 15 years, so a lot of mileage under his belt.
Exactly, and Patrick in the far lane was a drag racer. He was a truck puller, a tractor puller, exhibition driver. He's been in the sport a long time.
Fred Schaefer takes the victory. What you didn't mention was that Dan Patrick also built many of these monster trucks.
Yeah, exactly. He's been around for a long time at the 510. These Dodgers are turning some good numbers. Now, all of a sudden, we've got a real hot day, and the Dodgers who run what they call dry blocks that would normally be too hot to make horsepower are making an awesome amount of horsepower.
Well, Fred Schaefer, there's the margin of his victory. Let's go trackside and visit with Fred Schaefer.
Gary, we're standing with a guy, or a team, I got to say, that really figured out how to put this chassis down and make it work for you in no man's land. Man, you were making some power out there.
Well, thank you, Army. We changed some shocks, and we've been trying to do our homework. Watch that videotape, and we've really picked up here. That was a fast time of the event thus far, that run right there, and we think we can go faster.
See, they watch our TV show.
That was a hearty remark. We want to go faster, and we think we can. The Penda Points Series continues here in Springfield, Missouri. There's a look at moving violation. Brian Welsh, he's in the far lane, staging the GMC. And he goes up against the Ford. There's a look at Brian Welsh out of Chicago, Illinois. And he will stage against Eric Meager in the Ford Bigfoot.
Bigfoot truck with the Just Say No to Drug logo on the back of that truck. All these monster truck drivers, the one thing they do agree on is they're all involved in the national anti-drug program, such as Just Say No or Racers Against Drugs or what have you. Eric Meager steps up to wear the baddest color in the sport, the Bigfoot blue.
Now, those of us in motorsports know that you can really get high on racing,
exactly.
Not on
you
drugs.
Don't need dope.
Tell you what, Eric just pulled the trigger right there. That race was over once the green light went on. He got the whole shot, but look at this.
You talk about destiny. That was not supposed to happen. Meager had no reason to red light against Brian Welch, but look at the time Welch turned.
Wow.
Maybe Meager knew something about that GMC
wow.
we didn't know.
Look again. We thought that Meager had a great hole shot. He red lights. There's the margin right there that we talked about earlier, but he red lights. And Brian Welch had an excellent time.
Brian, you can't win a battle if you don't step in the ring. And, son, you've never been afraid to step in there with anybody. This has got to make you feel great, though.
Yeah, it sure does. You know, when they red light like that, the big blue team over there, you know that they're expecting one heck of a race. You know, we're giving it all we can here with the little motor we got. But we're there. We're going round after round. We're going to go another one, see what happens.
Well, a pleasant surprise for the moving violation fans as he will move into the semis. There are the pairings right there. As we get ready for semifinal action here in Springfield, let's go talk to Eric Meager.
Son, nothing to be ashamed of. No guts, no glory. It was close, but close doesn't count in this game.
Yeah, that's right. I was concentrating on the tree, as we said earlier, trying to cut a good light, trying to get lane choice in the next round. Tensions are high out here. I mean, this is racing. It's definitely competitive. It's what we enjoy. That's why we keep coming out. Not going to get down, definitely not out. We're coming back, though. We're only about halfway through, so we got time to catch them.
History shows that Springfield has been Ford country, but today we have two Dodges in the semifinals. There's the cracked windshield of Rampage. Hey, welcome back to Springfield, Missouri. Can you turn the rap radio down a little bit? The Dodge Monster Drags as we are set for the semifinal round. A pair of Dodge trucks. We have a Ford and a GMC. But the Fords that we normally see in the finals are on the trailer. The Bigfoot Fords out of competition. We look at Overkill.
Kirk Dabney is really a survivor. Started out the year flipping the truck, completely demolishing it. We're down to the fourth and final race in the series here at Springfield with the temperatures well over 100 degrees. And who's still able to roll to the line? Old Overkill.
Well, he pulls up against Ken Deppy in Rampage, one of two Dodge trucks here. And Dodge Corporate would love to see the two Dodges side by side in the finals.
Well, in order to do it, this guy out of Jeff City, Missouri, like I say, from his hometown folks, is going to have to second guess the guy in the middle with the light. He did it.
Yeah, it's all Deppy. Deppy takes the victory, so Ken Deppy in Rampage at 5'10", a good ET. He finds himself in the finals. Now he gets a chance to step back and see if his teammate can also make it to the finals.
The 5'10" is deceiving because the Dodgers have been making so much horsepower, but they're having heat problems. They're no longer have that problem.
Well, let's go down and talk now to Ken Deppy.
You know, Kurt Dabney and his crew are really fighting their way back. It's a street fight out here at best, but I got to give credit where credit's due. That guy ran you tough, you know, and you ran him tough, too. That's what this sport's all about.
Yeah, he did. You know, Kurt had some really hard luck in Lima, you know, early this year, and we're really glad to see these back. You know, I know he worked real hard getting his truck ready. He's a tough competitor. There's a lot of guys out here that are coming on now. You know, it's not like you just see, you know, Dodge and then the whatever that other team is in the finals all the time. You get these guys in here, too. You know, we're glad for the competition.
I think he was referring to the Ford team of the Bigfoot. Well, there's his teammate, Fred Schaefer in Barefoot, the other Dodge here this afternoon. And there is the GMC moving violation, Brian Welch.
Kind of a David and Goliath scenario here. David, of course, would be Welch with the Privateer Chevrolet, trying to put together a national sponsor. I understand he's working with a dairy chain of some type out there. I don't know exactly the name. I wish him well in securing that sponsor, because we'll tell everybody in the world about it if they can get their name on the side of that truck. Meanwhile, the Dodge boys, they're hooked up and flying. Back over to Welch. He knows a win here could really, really help his cause to land that sponsorship here.
That's good exposure to be in the semis right now against the Dodge, as he is still staging over there in the far lane. Trying to second guess that starter. Ken Deppy looks on to see who he'll face in the finals. Oh my, who was that? They give it to Fred Schaefer, a 5:41, but how about Brian Welch? You talk about some of these guys coming on strong.
Well,
a pleasant surprise.
Flying Brian ran him as tough as old Flash Freddie wanted to be run. Look here. If he hadn't had this TT-4 horsepower, he was in trouble.
All right, so Fast Freddie wins it.
The heat really taking its toll this afternoon. The young man you ran against, Brian Welch, a strong young, one of the young guns coming after you in this sport, and he ran you tough.
Boy, he did. It was a close race, Army. We're changing fills and nozzles here between rounds in this heat, and like you said, it is taking a toll on it. That was a close race.
So a pair of Dodge Hemis in the finals here at Springfield. But hey, coming up, the tough truck competition. And here's Tom McHugh in his 85 black Jeep.
Should it be called a tough truck or tough vehicle competition? Because a Jeep is not a truck. That's a technicality, folks, back home, but that's exactly where I'm
See how much air he gets. No, not that much.
Oh, yeah, he kicks up a little bit of
dirt.
Yeah.
The fans are kind of mediocre in their applause.
Ah, but they like the Moose. Everybody knows the Moose.
73 Scout. And now we'll see some air. This thing has seen better days. Yeah, always tough to make this sharp right-hander. It's 180 degrees.
The big jumps at the end of it.
Picks up a little steam here, and yeah, he gets some good air. Whoa, look at this. Upside down. Nose over. He almost went side for side.
Way to go,
Moose climbs out to the cheers of the crowd. He shakes his head. Yeah, I'm okay. And Army talked to Moose after his crash.
Gary, last year we started the show with this man's son. Now, we call him the Moose Man in this part of the country. And as you can see, he's also known as Mr. Excitement. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just fine. Just continuing with the tradition.
Okay, I know you take it serious, but we kind of worry about you guys sometime. We're glad to see you doing okay.
Yeah, it's more fun than it is anything, but we like to put on a show for the crowd, and it helps to get on TV every once in a while. Thank you, Army.
If you can't win, be spectacular. A thumbs up, he's okay. Good crowd on hand. We're coming back for the finals. We are ready for the finals for the first time this year. It's an all-Dodge final in an event sponsored by Dodge Trucks. Now, earlier, Army took a look at Fred Schaefer's engine. It's a Hemi, but it's a dry block. It does not use water for cooling.
What you're looking at is the back of Fred Schaefer's block. Okay, it's a dry block. And a dry block is unique because there's no liquid inside this block like your car and my car to cool it off. The way they're cooling it off is actually fattening the engine up. Now, fattening is a term in motorsports that means you put more fuel to it. Usually you put more fuel to an engine to make it go faster. That's not the case today. Because they run methanol or alcohol for fuel and it burns so cool, they're figuring the more fuel I run in it, the cooler the engine is going to run. Exactly the theory on this thing. Let's see if it works out for them. They're fattening the motor and going to the final.
Well, Dodge is going to win this thing, that's for sure. There is Rampage with the broken windshield. Ken Deppy, the far lane, the near lane. Fred Schaefer in the barefoot Dodge.
Even though Schaefer owns both of them, I guarantee you Deppy's going to run him hard. Remember, this is his backyard.
Schaefer has been disqualified. He was out of bounds. Deppy wins it. However, Schaefer does move to second place in the point standings, but the victory goes to Ken Deppy.
Well, Ken Deppy, it was just a great race. I tell you what, a hard race. Fred disqualified, but you ran him hard.
You know, Army, Fred's always been running faster times than I have all year. Today was one of the exceptions. I actually put down a faster time than Fred did today, which really kind of surprised me. I was really happy about that. Really happy that we both made it in the final. You know, 2 Dodges in the final. Can't get much better than that.
Well, here is what happened. Watch Fred Schaefer coming right at you. He veers off to your right. His left goes out of bounds. He's DQ'd. Well, we hope you've enjoyed today's monster truck racing from Springfield, Missouri. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now here's news of an exciting video release from Diamond P Sports.